everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Michelson.
And I'm Antoine Beeks.
And we're going to be talking some injury updates and some waiver wire activity, who you need to go and grab to hopefully, save your league or your team if you're like me, who's 0-3. So, anywho, let's start with some injuries.
Hey, what are you doing with the information from the show, man? You 0-3.
I know. I'm not using anything from the show. I just hear the same stuff. I don't actually listen.
Man, hey, look, so just quick into injuries, man. Pat Mahomes got that ankle rolled up on. I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing. Doesn't say that he's going to be out. He just got the ankle rolled up on. We'll see how that affects him kind of moving inside the pocket. If we know anything about Patrick Mahomes, he's going to line up to play that game.
Yeah, he did. He's done it before, and it's a good chance he tries to pull it again. So I have faith. I don't doubt that he's going to play. And for the people who are actually impacted, Travis Kelce, I think he'll be fine. You're going to do your thing with him. Another injury that we have is Jimmy G. I don't really know how much I care with the concussion if he's in or out. I don't really know how different it is with the, backup or not. So I guess I don't really care about that. You have Gus Edwards, Derek Carr.
Hey, timeout. Don't just flow by that. That's a big injury for those Devontae Adams people. Him and Devontae Adams pretty much carried the offense last week.
You wanted to separate injuries, so I separated injuries. I'm flying through.
Oh, go ahead. You just said it wasn't that big a deal. I think that's a big deal for Jimmy Garoppolo, man.
I think Derek Carr, or I think not Derek Carr. That Devontae Adams can just be a star with whoever. I just think he's just that good that he just makes the quarterback better.
Okay.
You don't think Devontae Adams that good?
Fly through him.
Carr with an AC joint. Mike Williams is one of the big ones. With an ACL tear done for the season. So
hey man, that's a big one. I'm sad for Mike Williams, man. He's had a really good career, kind of up and down. I've been watching him fantasy wise, and man, those Chargers receivers, man, just could never stay healthy at the same time.
Yep, they do. They stay getting hurt.
I just wanted to add that in there, man. That sucks.
Yeah, it does, because he is a talented player, but some people's careers and bodies just don't hold it down like that. And so from there, how does this impact the landscape of free agency? How does this impact the landscape of teams with these injuries? Now that we ran through who's hurt, how is this impacted?
Well, it impacts.
You start with Jimmy G. We go back to Jimmy now, and we can talk about him.
Well, I think Jimmy's gonna play. He finished the game. He is in concussion protocol. I think a lot of these guys are in concussion protocol just because the league.
Yeah, Coach McDaniel situation. Just let your players play with a concussion. What are we doing here?
No. He's not concussed, man. He's okay. The league is just being weird about stuff, and it just is.
They should after last year. Holy cow, they did a terrible job.
And rightfully so. You're right. You're absolutely right. So they're on their, let's make this right type deal, right? And rightfully so. They should. So I think Jimmy G is gonna be okay. If we're talking about somebody that's gonna impact the game, I think it's gonna be Derek Carr. With that AC joint. I hear it's really, really tough to play with those AC joints, especially as a quarterback on your throwing arm. So I'm not sure.
Throwing arm, that's okay.
So I'm not sure that he's even going to line up to play this weekend. And with that being said,
J Money
time. Yeah. And we know how this guy likes to get the ball and get it out of his hands. I do think that it will be better for Chris Olave and Mike Thomas. Derek Carr is not better. Yeah. Derek Carr's not that big of a risk taker. His deep ball accuracy and his taking shots down the field is not his game. He's more of a conservative guy. So with Jameis Winston, I think that's really big for Chris Olave, who can kind of stretch the field, who doesn't get a lot of opportunities for explosive plays. So watch out for Chris Olave. And just Jameis just likes to throw the ball more. So I feel like they'll be getting that ball out of his hands a little bit more, which will lead to more targets for Mike Thomas and Rashid Shaheed. So
Oh yeah,
if
that's
you
gonna be the one
guys
I
are
think
looking,
takes a step up too. If we're talking about deep ball opportunity, then for sure. I think I agree with you there. There's an opportunity for him to get some big plays. So and you're right though, Jameis does like to throw drastically more and give zero cares in the world about where that ball's going. So
he don't at all. He don't at all.
yeah, so I agree. I don't think it's gonna be that far of a downgrade, or even if it is, right? You know, at worst, maybe a sidestep, maybe an upgrade. And they play the Buccaneers, right? So,
And we seen
man,
how that defense just got shellacked
yeah,
last night on Monday Night
exactly.
Football. So
James Winston, revenge game. What? Coming out hot. So, and then
yep.
obviously with Mike Williams, you know, this is kind of leading to our waiver wires here is Quentin, to me, everybody says, you know, Palmer's the one. You know, every analyst, every person that I've been hearing and reading and doing all the research on is Palmer, Palmer, Palmer. But Quentin Johnson was a very highly um, touted and respected draft pick that should be on your radar for Johnston, excuse me, for the LA Chargers. So because he is a size like Mike with speed like Mike, and like that's why they drafted him as early as they drafted him in the first round. So like this dude needs the ball. Like, come on now. You're not gonna draft the first round, put in first round capital to not play him and make him one of your stars. So for me, I'm chasing Quentin Johnson. That's who I'm going for waivers.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I would be taking Quentin Johnson too. I mean, but if there's anybody on a waiver, it seems to be A Chain.
Oh yeah,
I'm going, I'm going after A Chain, man. And A Chain, oh, I don't even know his first name. The
Devon
running
A
back,
Chain. It's like A Chan technically, but it sounds cooler saying A Chain.
he lit the Broncos up. And the
215.
way that
So,
that Miami offense just moves the ball, there's just so much opportunity for a
but
lot of other people.
but is it going to be like that every week? Because they're not playing Denver every week. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be playing better defenses. They're going to be playing, and they're going to have Waddle back. So some of that came on receptions for A Chan. So does Waddle coming back take away from some of that opportunity? You know, as well, right? Do they go and then also because it was such a blowout, does A Chan now take less reps because they're not playing blowout fashion?
Well, it just remains to be seen, man. I mean, I like what they're doing. It looks
I
like
do.
Tua.
I agree.
It looks like Tua is kind of like Patrick Mahomes, where it doesn't matter who gets the ball as long as they get it and they scoring it, right?
Yeah.
So,
That can be, but for them, this could be wavy because like it could be a high game for Hill, a medium game for Waddle, a medium game for Achan, maybe a high game for Mostert. Like, is it going to be like spotty? You know, are these
hey,
big
and
games going to be spotty?
that's what fantasy football is. But I tell you one thing,
Well, not if
you
you're
start
Justin
this.
Jefferson, you're just 150 every week, and you just do it.
Hey, hey,
150
Justin
is your
Jefferson
normal.
is Justin Jefferson is lighting it up.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson. Hey, and Kirk Cousins, by the way. Let's
Yep.
not forget that.
Yep. But
This
that's
is
what I'm saying.
not
Is like,
Kirk Cousins'
is it
fault
going to be
while the
more
Vikings are
spotty
0
than
3.
consistent? That's my point, right? Are we going to be like one week you got 30 yards and like on 15 carries, and then one week you're 150 yards on the same 15 carries? You know,
Hey, but look, but we're not talking about these guys being RB1s. These guys are flex spots, RB3s,
that's what I'm trying
someone
to
to
find out.
have
Is
on the
what are you
roster.
valuing them at? That is
Yeah,
my
these
point.
guys,
That is what I'm
these
trying to
guys are
find out.
these guys are just, RB2, RB3, flex guys, somebody that you put in when all is not right. And
Okay,
and sometimes
that's what.
and sometimes all is not right. There's been a lot of guys that's been underperforming. There's been sometimes you might need to shake some stuff up, as you know from experience, right? Like you're 0-3 right now.
Yeah, I
There's
gotta
some
shake
guys that's
something. I
not
gotta do something.
there's guys that's not performing over there for
I
you,
gotta
you
do
know? So
something.
so it happens, man.
Speaking of performing though, let's so we talked, let's see here. We talked
Want
Tank
to talk
Dell,
about
right?
No, we didn't talk Tank Dell.
Perfect.
Tank Dell is out here
Yeah, it's
killing it.
killing it right now. And thanks to CJ Stroud, who, if you need a streaming quarterback, somebody that you can look at for streaming, but only 28% owned for Tank Dell. So if you got a chance, go get him. I'm part of that 28%. But if you got a chance, you need to go and get yourself some Tank Dell because CJ Stroud has figured it out in the NFL. I don't know how. I don't know where that came from, and I was not expecting it, but he's getting people involved. So if you have Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and desperately Robert Woods every now and again, you can use them as, I mean, most of the guys are fours, but Tank Dell's moving into two territory right now, but the way that he's playing. So Tank Dell, grab him off the waivers. My goodness.
Hey, Tank
Absolutely.
Dell has really been killing it, man. Tank Dell has really been killing it. And
Yeah.
since we're kind of going on waivers
Yeah,
and
let's do it. Let's chat it.
waivers,
Waiver episode, baby.
you guys got to go out and get Romeo Dubs, man. I'm not
Romeo,
sure
only 34% owned in most leagues. So
he's he has becoming he has becoming Jordan Love's best target, favorite target, and he's not by any stretch of the imagination just like lighting stuff up, right? But he's very consistent and
mhm.
he's getting the targets, right? He's getting the targets, he's getting the work. 12 targets last week, right? 8 the week before. He's getting the targets, he's getting the work. Last week he's 5 for 73 and one touchdown, right? That's good enough for RB or not RB, but a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, somewhere in that flex area if you need points, if you need guys.
And he's
Uh,
not a slouch either. I mean, he's a fourth round draft pick, so he wasn't a wasted draft capital. Like they put some investment into him, so he's somebody that they know can play if they need him. I mean, he's 6'2", one's like a 4'4", so it's like he can ball, man. Like he's only outshined by Christian Watson because of where they drafted him, but these guys were drafted to be 1-2 punches.
yep,
So
yep.
no, I definitely agree with that. I like Romeo Dubs. He was one of my late round draft pick people who, it's like hold him for a little bit and see what happens. Because Christian Watson's always hurt, and well, here we are again. So 3 weeks
Yep.
no Watson. Oh yeah, another waiver wire ad. Excuse me. If we are, if he's available in your league, is Roshan Johnson. He basically split work with Khalil Herbert in Chicago. Now I don't know how much that means as far as the Chicago's offense, but at some point they're going to take the ball out of Fields' hands and they're going to just give it to the running backs and let them have a running back heyday. So I still think he's worth a pick if you need a running back 4 or something like that to kind of fill your bench spots and waiver wires. And he's slowly taking over Khalil Herbert's role, I feel, in my mind. It has been pretty quick transition for how much work he's been getting each week.
Man, he is terrible. Hey, but another guy that I think that's really good on the waiver. We talked about him, Jameis Winston, just because of the way he likes to
Yep.
throw the ball. If you're in a 2 QB league, he is definitely going to put up points just because of the volume that he throws the ball.
He's like 1% owned, so go for like less than 1% owned. So get him.
Go get this man. I wouldn't be surprised either, guys, that if he has some success in these couple of weeks that Derek Carr's going to be out, that he just stays the quarterback.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has some success. So it wouldn't be a bad pickup.
If you also need another streamer, if you're desperate, Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton lit it up this week for whatever reason. He's just like red rifles all out, baby. We got fully loaded rounds. He's throwing all over. He got he got Thielen 145 and a tutty. Like, sheesh. Thielen looking like
I was
the
just
young
gonna say
Thielen
Thielen.
again. Oh man.
I was
If Thielen's out there, grab him. I don't know if he's still available or not. Some people may have dropped him if they were doubting the situation in North Carolina. But if Andy Dalton's the guy for a little bit, then go for it. If it goes back to Bryce, eh, eh,
Hey,
for sure.
one last one for me is Melvin Gordon with the
Yep.
concussion to Gus Edwards. They're getting real thin in that
Yes.
Ravens backfield, and I think that it's going to be big for uh,
Mhm.
Melvin Gordon to come in and run the ball. He's a veteran. He's been around, and I don't see anyone else coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, so Melvin Gordon, guys, he's gonna run that ball quite a bit for the Ravens this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's a solid deep one to kind of go into there. So I agree with that because like you said, there's not a lot to offer right now for the Ravens running back room again for another season. So hey, it is what it is. Also, with the there's one tight end, Gerald Everett. With the down of Mike Williams, there's a chance for him to get a few more targets in the game, and he has been trustworthy and reliable for Justin Herbert. So someone to look at for a tight end. That's probably the only tight end I will probably say that's someone to look out for. But he's an option, and he's someone in the red zone that they used pretty well last season. So touchdown
Yeah.
or bust, but that's like every tight end after like the fifth tight end. They're all touchdown or bust, so it's okay.
I mean, Mark Andrews is looking pretty bad, but that whole Ravens offense is looking pretty bad. Moving
Too
on to
nice.
the Monday night football games, though, man,
Yeah, let's
the
recap a little bit.
Eagles just shellacked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I mean, take it for what it's worth, right? Mike Evans didn't play that great to me. He had two big drops. He had 10 targets, and two of them were big time drops. He dropped a touchdown and he dropped like a 25-yarder, which in my mind makes this game a little bit different. I like the Buccaneers. I like the Buccaneers, man. I don't think that
Under
this
Baker, they're doing something, man. It's crazy. They have changed their mindset around. Everybody's in effort mode and just out
yeah,
there doing their thing.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that this 25-11 loss was much of anything to the Buccaneers. I look for
Yep.
them to bounce back this next week, but they got slacked, and it wasn't, for fantasy wise, it wasn't much of anything anywhere
No, not
coming from the Buccaneer side, but on the Eagles side, you can have at it.
Yeah, so on the Eagles side, I mean, they took off as far as the running backs, as far as DeAndre Swift anyway, 16 for 130. This was a running game, though. When you look at the numbers, there's 10 attempts for Hurts, 14 for Gainwell, 16 for Swift. Like they wanted the ball on the ground, and they showed that. Hurts still put a little workout in the air too, 23 of 37, 277 and a touchdown, two interceptions, which you think that the Buccaneers would have kept in the game on that, but they didn't, so I don't know why they couldn't do that, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But receivers, AJ Brown, 9 for 131, and Zacchaeus had 2 for 58 and a touchdown. So, but you kind of were let down as far as Devontae Smith from what he's been doing this season. But that's one of those things where it's like, is this going to be the offense of it's my week, your week, my week, your week? Can it be
And
both
that
weeks?
and that was my question. I was gonna say, when does Jalen Hurts figure out how to get them both the ball equally and both let them,
Leaves the
get a
case
little
out
bit
of
of
this, and
equal?
maybe that'll help out a little bit.
Well, I mean,
Leaves the case,
I feel
get
like he
ready
got to
to.
figure it out, man. These guys are not gonna be happy. We've seen the AJ Brown blow up on the sideline, and I feel like that's why I was kind of forced to get AJ Brown the ball.
Yep.
But what does it look like next week, or what does it look like 2 weeks from now when it's AJ Brown, and now Devontae Smith
Yep.
isn't getting any work?
Exactly.
So we'll see what that looks
It
like.
will be.
But I
And
agree
we
with you,
can talk
man. The
about
Eagles.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Eagles owned it, and I was moving on.
Yep. So we'll talk about the Bengals and the Rams for Monday night, and there was nothing being offered here. I mean, you had a little bit of Tutu Atwell with a touchdown, 450 a touchdown, but you're not overly happy. I mean, you got 5 for 71 for the Rams for Tyler Higbee, 5 for 72 for Puka Nakua. So they weren't terrible, right? If you're in PPR, even in a standard league, the 7 points, I would take 7 points at this point. So I would,
Yeah, you take a whole lot over there, wouldn't you?
I would take that. Shoot, but I mean, they're not killing you, right? The thing is, looks like we found some of their floors, and that's good, right? If I can take 5 for 60 on the floor in a PPR league, you're not destroying me by any means. So in 5 for 70, 5 for 70, that's cool. I'll take that for sure. Kyrie Williams kind of came back down to earth. Everybody was hyped on him and everything like that. But he's still a young running back, 10 for 38, so still figuring out his way. And it was a gross game for most teams. I mean, the Bengals barely got anything started unless it was Chase. So who had 12 for 141. Everybody else was just there watching him do work. So and nobody was watching Joe Burrow because if you were watching that game, he got eaten up plenty and many.
Well, I think the biggest thing from the takeaway from that was Joe Burrow got out of there and he was healthy.
That's sad, but that's the only thing you could take out of that.
Joe Burrow was healthy. So for those of you who have Joe Burrow as a quarterback, still start him. He looked okay. He got eaten up a lot.
26 for
I mean,
49. At what point is that okay?
It's okay when you got Joshua Fields throwing 112 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, but we expect more from Burrow, somebody who's been in the Super Bowl and the AFC champ. Like, we're not expecting those. We're not expecting that from Fields right now. This is a different person that we're expecting. We should be looking at like 300 and something, a couple of touchdowns. We didn't get any of that. We're not getting any of that.
He's also not practicing. So due to that leg, he's also not practicing. So
yeah, he forgot to throw a football.
Like I said,
he forgot to throw a football.
Like I said, he got out of there healthy, which was a good thing. Good signs that he got out of there healthy. Man, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, I feel like they need to wake up and help him out a little bit. T. Higgins had 4 drops.
Yeah, T. Higgins had a bad day. Jamar Chase, was decent for the most part. He had just a couple of missed receptions, but he was the guy that he was looking for because apparently T. Higgins lost some faith in that game, and it was all Jamar Chase after those drops. So,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't nothing to write home about. The defense has played pretty great on both sides. So
yeah, it was a pretty low scoring game compared to the. I mean, even the Eagles game was a low scoring one, but at least they put up 20 plus points. One thing to take away too is Joe Mixon, although not efficient, did have 65 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So at least you got something out of that. It wasn't great, but he didn't kill you again, right? So,
hey, if you're talking about PPR league, you'll take it, right? Even in the standard, you'll take it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll take the 12 whatever points from a running back in that situation. So that's fine. Not the worst case scenario, but the takeaway from that piece is 19 carries. He's getting all the work. There's nobody behind him. The next highest was Joe Burrow with 3 carries and -2 yards. So I think it's pretty safe to say he owns that backfield. And in fantasy, once that offense does figure themselves out, that's the kind of running back you want. You want somebody to own their backfield. So that is something that is pretty great for Joe Mixon in that regard. So
yeah.
Man, to everybody out there, hopefully you guys are in better positions than I am because I am 0-3, 1-2, 1-2, 3-0 in one league. So, but so I got one saving.
What's that? That's the $5 league.
No, that's the work league. So, but not exactly the best of competition. Not the worst, but not the best of competition. So,
man, I had a great week this week. I went 6-0.
Yeah, tell them about it.
Wiped the board with it all. Shout out to Devontae Adams, man. Devontae Adams killed it. He killed it, man. Devontae Adams killed it. I love Devontae Adams. I'll argue with anybody.
This is one of the situations where when you draft consistently in the same players where it can pan out.
Yeah, yep. And AJ Brown finally came alive for me. I was very fortunate to have squeaked by in some leagues with him not being the greatest, but him coming alive this week just kind of just solidified it. Hey
Mhm.
man, shout out to these defenses out here too, because the Bills put up 33 and they were nasty, man. They were all over the place.
Yeah, some
So the Bills
defenses
put
this
up
year
some
have
good
been
numbers.
crazy.
Yeah, man, I had a really good week fantasy wise. So I'm right there right now.
He's all
I'm
smiles,
2-1
not all
in everyone.
frowns. So hopefully
Yeah,
next week we'll turn that thing around. And that, yes,
yeah.
I got it on
Hopefully,
purpose.
man. Hopefully, I
Yeah,
want to see
I
a good
got,
smile from you.
yeah, I gotta right the ship, man, because it's sinking in our big money league. I'm sinking quick. It is not
Hey,
good.
quick, you know that going 0-4 or 0-5 can really
Yeah, it's hard
kill
to
the whole
dig
season.
out of the hole of that one. So I just gotta make sixth place though. I just gotta make six so I can get into the playoffs and then let's take off from there, baby.
Hey, you got to turn it around. You got to get to 1-4 right here, or one and
I
three.
know. It's a
Got to
rough
get to one
one.
and three right here this week.
Yeah, 1-3. Here we go. But man, another day in the books, my guy. To everybody
Thank you
out there,
guys for
good luck
rocking
in
with
week
us.
4. Man, we'll see you here soon for sit starts. But get your waiver wires in, get your people. You know, there's not a heavy waiver wire this week, but there are some gems out there that can help you out. So get out there. But hey, we appreciate you guys at the Legendary Sports Podcast. I
Thanks
am,
for rocking with us, man.
yes, I'm Jared Michelson,
I'm Antoine Beeks.
and we're out.
Peace.
Peace.